Good morning. Hopefully it's morning when I get this up. No, you're not seeing things. I am in the same clothes as I was yesterday. That's because I rolled right into the next video. And we are discussing today Alphonse Mucha. It's another, I still have this stuff from the dollar store on my desk. So if you missed that video, it's a good one. It's an interesting one. It's a helpful one. But today and right now we're talking about Alphonse Mucha, and we're talking about the next installment of my master class and about this master painting during what I am creating right now for Summer with the Masters. And I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy these master classes, because I am just in master mode these days. Like I am still waiting for, and it's not them, it's me. They would have been here sooner had I answered my emails sooner and got back to them. But I was answering them back like every 3 to 4 days at Dreamer Designs, and they are creating another Klimt for me. This is a painting of his that I don't even know where I came across it. I came across it while I was doing a masterclass on Gustav Klimt, while I was doing The Kiss, and while I was doing Woman in Gold. And I came across one of his sketches, and it is a painting, and I've never seen it, and I made sure that it's a Klimt, and it is. And I'm not divulging what it is because I just love her. I think she's spectacular, and I can't wait for it to get here. Maybe it'll get here today and we could do an unboxing. I was saying in my previous video that when I was doing the walkthrough my art room, that I was showing you some pieces that I have up, and Lilac is up there. And I actually heard from Dreamer Designs in an email that said, you know, can you give us a rating on Lilac? Now I know Lilac was very popular, and I know that she was sold out multiple times, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give you a rating. And I have beautiful pictures of her. I absolutely love that painting. And you know, I have a lot of confidence in Dreamer Designs. I don't compare diamond painting companies, and I will tell you why. Each diamond painting company has their own vision, and I think that if you go about comparing them to, say, Dreamer Design or Distracted by Diamonds or Jaded Gem Shop, if you compare any of these lovely diamond painting companies that we all love, and they have a love for diamond painting, I think that you kind of miss the journey that they're on. You kind of miss what their vision is if you're going about comparing them. And so I love Lilac, and I loved being in my art room. I can't wait for it to be finished. I gave you an idea of how to hang these bigger panels, but I'm also working on another idea for that altogether, because as I dive into my art room and different arts and crafts that I participate in, and I'm getting to get reacquainted with even some diamond painting tools that I said, nah, not for me. I stepped away from it, and I came back to it, and I realized, and this is the journey, and this is what I love about creating, is that, you know, maybe it wasn't so much the product. Maybe it was me. Maybe I was using it wrong. Maybe I wasn't in the mood to try something new. Maybe I was, you know, had some preconceived idea of what I thought it was going to be, and then when it didn't meet my expectations, I kind of tossed it on the side. Case in point is, you know, my Skinny Diamond Art Club multi-placers. I've tried these 3 or 4 times, and I was like, what's the big deal? I can't get them to line right. You know, it was me, and I actually changed to a different putty. I'm actually waiting for a putty to be delivered, hopefully again today. That is a low humidity putty, and in the meantime, I was helping my husband with something, and I said, oh, why don't you try my Quake Hold, which I love, and I think I have a piece of it out here. Yeah, I do. My desk is a mess, but I know where everything is. This is Quake Putty, and it's kind of so different than the putties that we use for diamond paintings. It's very soft and pillowy, and I think that's because with the putties that we use, it's also about aromatherapy, and I think that the oils interfere. So this was very soft and pillowy, and I haven't had to change it yet, and it's working very nicely with my Diamond Art Club pen. And I don't know that I would have you know, tested a non-scented, non-specific diamond painting putty in my diamond art placer, but I did, and it's working, and I'm passing it on to you to, and this goes for me too, to be a little bit more open-minded about the products that we use and the things that we try, and do a little bit more research on them and see if you can, like, maybe you're the one doing something wrong. Yeah, so that's what I got to say about that. I am so excited. I'm going to move you guys across to the other side of the room because though I love my videos, I don't love the view that you get, and I'm trying to get you more like on top of the painting so that you could see more of what I'm doing. And I will be right back with that. See you in a bit. Enjoy the masterclass and enjoy your canvas. Take your whip out or just listen to this as a podcast. That's another thing I got going on in my life. I'm doing that too. And get your whip out. Join Summer with the Masters. It's not too late. If you have an old master painting that you put away, you can still join the fun. Does it have to be a new start? You don't have to finish it. Go to Katie at Diamonds and Washi or go to Anthony at Single and Placing for more details. See you in a bit. Welcome back, and guess what? We're staying exactly where we are because when I went across the room with my camera, it really wasn't where I was working was too far away. So what I did was I took those dollar store clips from my dollar store video and I rolled them around my painting. I rolled my painting around and then clipped it. I would have liked to have had a pool noodle, but it's upstairs and I'm not going upstairs again. It's just like a sauna up there. And then we're going to get close here just by tilting this down. And I like that it's rolled and she's lifted a little bit and you can get to see her too. And I'm working right here. And I'm going to be working quietly because, as you know, when I do my master class, I just work and I keep myself in the zone, and I do a voiceover, so I really don't have to think about like where are my notes and facts and papers and stuff. And so enjoy the class, and I will see you in a little while. Welcome to part 2 of this masterclass on Alphonse Mucha. Today we're going to talk about the emergence of the Art Nouveau style, which continues so much today, and the development of that style. What were the influences, the Art Nouveau movement, understanding the origins and the characteristics of Art Nouveau, and of course Mucha's style. What was his influence? What was the influence which was characterized by these elegant, beautiful women, these elongated figures, the flowing hair, and the ornate floral motifs, which are so prominent in the canvas that I am working on at the moment, called Night's Rest. And I know that some of Mucha's influences, I think, and so much so, I was having Klimt flashbacks, medieval art, Byzantine mosaics, and Japanese woodcuts. Much like Klimt. Klimt had Japanese woodcuts in his apartment, on his wall in one of his rooms. And even though they were in the same time, in the same place, and they were contemporaries, they knew each other, there's no really any information that they were ever really friends, which I found so fascinating as I take another deep dive into Alphonse Mucha. The information is so intense. The timeline is pretty straightforward, and so is he. It's just that he created so much in this Art Nouveau movement, and it can get a little bit, weighed down. And I didn't want the class to be that way. I am going to put some slides up of some of his work, but let's get to it. So, the introduction to Art Nouveau, and I think this might be a good time to put a slide in here. So the slide here for the introduction is La Plume by Alphonse Mucha, 1897, which he completed while he was in France. Art Nouveau means new art in French, and it was an international art movement that emerged during the late, maybe the second half of the 19th century. It was characterized by its emphasis on organic forms, flowing lines, intricate details, and Alphonse Mucha became one of its most prominent figures, leaving a lasting impact on art and design. The roots of Art Nouveau can be traced back to the arts and crafts movement in England during the second half of the 19th century. Arts and crafts is often seen as a response to the growing industrialization in Europe and the rise of factory mass production at the perceived expense of traditional craftsmanship. The English writer, designer, architect, and socialist William Morris, pictured here, was its defining figure. Morris rejected the tawdry production values and dehumanizing aspects of Victorian capitalism, looking instead to the communal values of the medieval era. Morris's ideals of artisanal craftsmanship and his use of stylized floral and organic forms resonated with many Art Nouveau artists. Have nothing in your house that you do not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful. William Morris. When I read that, it resonated very deeply within me that this happened to be my tagline. And I was speaking to John last night about, creating the world that we want to live in, that I did a walkthrough through my art room, and he was like, really? Like, you showed your art room? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't show the floor. I just showed like up above. And I said, I'm going to take some things out of this room and I want to put them on my desk because I think they just reflect me so much. And while I'm working here, I want to be able to use them and see them. And, because that's my tagline, create the world that you want to live in, create your day. And when William Morris said, have nothing in your house that you do not know to be useful or believe it to be beautiful, it resonated deeply within me because I do hold that mantra too in my heart. And John said, well, do you know where you got that tagline from? I'm like, no, it just came out of my mouth one day. And he's like, well, not really. He said, my husband loves to read. And when we were dating, he used to read books to me. And he read a book to me from his childhood that he remembered from when he was 8 years old. And that was the first book that he read to me. And it was called Of Missing Persons. And it was about creating the world that you want to live in. It's a very beautiful book. And so it was deep into my subconscious when I said that day. And we had a good laugh over that last night over dinner. But let me get back to Mucha because it's really intense. Alphonse Mucha's style was influenced by many sources, including historical cultures, art movements, and other artists. Mucha's designs drew inspiration from many historical styles, including, and the list is long, Celtic, Greek, Gothic, Rococo, Islamic, Jewish, Egyptian, and Japanese. He was particularly inspired by Japanese woodblock prints, featuring detailed designs, floral patterns, and everyday scenes. Now, I'm taking a guess at this, but there are a few artists right now that are doing, I believe, Van Gogh's Almond Tree, I think it's called. If I had to take a guess, I would say that was also influenced by Japanese wood blocking. If you look at a lot of Japanese prints, you'll see the little bird, kind of looks like cherry blossoms. And Klimt too, again, very much influenced by Japanese work. And I believe that maybe Japanese art came into the art movement around the late 30s, early 40s. And I think Alphonse Mucha died in 1935. So he had a head start on that influence. Mucha's style was influenced by Art Nouveau. And Art Nouveau, which means new art, was a bohemian movement that rejected the previous art world, again, just like the Vienna Secession. And he also associated women with death and rebirth. Again, just like Klimt, when you see some of his artworks with women, especially the Tree of Life, of course, birth and death. But he does have a painting of a group of women. I'm not really sure what the name is, but it's a woman through her different stages of life. So he also associated women with death and rebirth, which speaks to his interest also in symbolism. Mucha's work was also influenced by Hans Makart's The Five Senses. He also became friends with notable Slavic artists while studying at the Munich Academy of Fine Arts. Mucha was also influenced by the Symbolist creed, which held that art should be atmospheric and symbolic and not realistic. He also drew inspiration from Theosophy, which holds that the world was created by the universal mind, and Wagner's music dramas and Baudelaire's symbolist poetry. So I am inserting here, I went looking for the Apple Blossom Tree by Van Gogh. I would say that was Japanese wood blocking, very much so. I'm getting back to what William Morris said about having things in your home that are beautiful. This fish knife and fork from 1902. Beautiful. This, I believe, is just a residential home in Paris. The metro station of 1911 in Paris, still there. Mucha's graphic work, Nestle Foods. Can you imagine if our products look like this today? Moet and Chandon. I'm going to have to do one of these, probably the one on the right. And the Bears de la Musée beer poster. Again, just a beautiful decanter in the Art Nouveau style. And the themes of the seasons. And I want to do that winter one, of course, because I was a winter bride. This is Tiffany's in, oh, I forgot where. Probably Paris. So we'll get back to Mucha. I just wanted to go through, you know, when you start to see these things, you start to take pictures and you're like, oh, that's Art Nouveau, Art Nouveau. And I didn't have any jewelry in there. But Mucha, again, like he rejected the old world style, those stringent defining lines of what art was, much like Klimt. And I need to get a Klimt poster in there. Ah, that's better. This is Medicine by Klimt. I would believe that that is Adela's face. And she was Judith in Woman in Gold, and I believe that that is her also. On to one of Mucha's most famous posters, I think, next to the work that he did for the most famous actress of the time, Sarah Bernhardt, which I'm hoping to get to. This is an advertisement for the Job cigarette company. It is absolutely striking. It is of a beautiful woman with a lighted cigarette, and she dominates most of this poster. So it was an advertising, it was marketing for Job cigarette, and the name's in the back, and she's the prominent figure. But what I love about this poster also is that you can see that Byzantine influence around the border. And I love that, and I love the purple, and I love the swirling lines of her hair, of the smoke. It is everything that we expect out of a Mucha. The zigzag border, again, inspired by the Byzantine mosaics, and it just intertwines with everything else. Like, you have these sharp zigzag lines, but they're there. It's almost like a yin and a yang to the soft, swirling hair. The very fact that this is a depiction of a woman smoking, no woman would smoke, and she's kind of eroticized in this picture, and you know, her hair is down, which was daring because respectable women of the era wore their hair tied up. So there was very significant breaks from tradition, suggesting that maybe she's a wild woman. She's wanton and wild. She's not ashamed of being lost in pleasure. And I wouldn't say she's quite possibly nude. I think that maybe she is quite nude. And you know, the look of emotion on her face, her eyes are closed. She's very much enjoying the cigarette. I think he did a beautiful job here of, you know, he put together art and commerce, and he was advertising an everyday product. And I think it just reveals his great skill at blending that art and commerce together. And he elevated the ordinary into they're cigarette papers. He elevated it into a more mysterious and spiritual realm, if you judge by the look on her face and the rapture across her face. It's almost as if he was trying to elevate her also, like into this saint. Beautiful. But I think I might have a few minutes, so I'm going to get into Sarah Bernhardt. Perfect timing. So imagine the most famous actress of our time. I can't bring myself there, because when I think of famous actress, I think of like Elizabeth Taylor, Audrey Hepburn, or Vivian Leigh. Like, these were all beautiful women of stage and screen, but Sarah Bernhardt stood alone. She was the most famous actress of the time. And in 1897, Mucha was led to Paris, where he found it necessary to take on various minor commissions, for book and magazine illustration work. However, he achieved immediate fame in December of 1894 when he accepted a commission from Sarah Bernhardt, the greatest actress of the time, to create a promotional graphic for the play Gismonda. Now, I've seen this. I think Anthony from Single and Placing just maybe completed it. He's another Mucha fan like me. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think he got it from Jada Gem Shop, but you can check out his artwork on this painting. Mucha's art captivated the hearts and imaginations of the public with its beautiful, sensuous forms and exquisite definition of detail. He achieved an elegant style with his fluid design and perfectly balanced blend of natural and abstract decorative patterns. Mucha's prolific output of posters, graphics, calendars, illustrations, and decorative panel designs was concurrent with the general trend toward creating art for mass consumption and utilizing art for decoration. Through his extraordinary versatility in adapting to various forms of media, he exerted a profound influence on the Art Nouveau style. Wow, I did not think that I was going to be able to get everything in. I just saw myself wave my hand in during the time that I had allotted for this canvas. I did start out at about I think it was a little over an hour, and so I cut this down to like 38 minutes, and I might just cut the end off and just tell you what's going on here, since I have a little bit of time before I come back on, and it might be a lot better because I really look distressed at the end of this video. What had happened was I wanted to get an angle where you can see pretty much everything that is going on. I'm still playing around with this new tripod that I have. I had a tripod on my desk. I thought it was working out perfectly. Now I have something with a ring light, and I wanted to place it across on the other side of the desk, but it was too far away for me to want to maneuver. Like, sometimes I want to talk to you guys, and sometimes, I want you to get a little bit closer. And I put the light right next to me. However, this is a bright, white, blaring light. And where did I start? I started with white drills. They were two different shades of white and off-white. And between the light bouncing, onto the canvas and then into the drills, I was starting to develop a little bit of a headache here. And the drills, I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier, when it is humid out, I think more than our putty and wax is affected, the drills were just not, most of what I've cut out was, me wiping my hands because drills were popping up out of. Did you ever see them do that? Do you remember when we were kids, and usually at the end of the conveyor belt, if you went to the supermarket, where these little Mexican jumping beans in a little package, and you bought them and you just watched them jump? Well, that's what these things were doing. They were jumping out. I was trying to keep my hands clean. I was trying to I kept saying to myself, okay, I have to edit that. I have to edit that. I have to edit that. And every time I put my stylus down, it was an indication for me when I went back to review it that here comes a part where you're going to have to edit out a big chunk, and I was just getting frustrated, and I was so wanting to do artwork today and play with this canvas. And I'm coming into the home stretch, and when I looked at it after I was done, what eyesight I had left, because I was really going into a headache, I said, you know what, it was my intention to come down. I said it multiple times in all my videos. I want to come down the left side, and I'm going to do the bottom. I think what I'm going to do is it's less than 1/3 of the canvas that is left at the bottom. I think what I'm going to do is just do the border, because it's repetitive. So just put all the black drills down the side, then all those beautiful yellow drills and white drills right down the side, and get the border done, and just feel like, okay, I don't want to rush getting it done, but I am all about making this an enjoyable experience and not turning it into a job, not turning it into work. I don't want to mass produce, diamond paintings and not take any pleasure or joy in them, which is why I do master classes. I want to know about this style of art. And I will tell you, I had a lot more that I could have entered into this masterclass. It's the influences of Art Nuevo are just so intense, and I might just add some more photographs at the end that I didn't get a chance to put up. I think it would be nice to put up different themes that Mucha did. I think I just put the seasons up, but he did like times of the day. I believe he even did like birthstones. I'm not I had this seasons in my restaurant. I loved to go to thrift stores. However, my mother worked for an auctioneer, and these wood framed mirrors came in that had, was it the seasons? Yes, it was the seasons painted on them. And one of them was missing. There was only 3. So maybe they were having a hard time auctioning them off. And when I opened up my restaurant in Philadelphia, she's like, I'd like to give these to you. I'm like, well, I'm going to separate them. I'm not going to keep them together, because then maybe people will be looking for like the 4th one. And I still have them, and they're beautiful. So I know that he did those. But I think it would be nice to put up, different themes that he did. I wonder if I'm trying to remember what season was missing, because I really want to do the winter scene. I love that scene, of course, because I was a winter bride, but I already did the winter fox. Not that she looks anything like a bride, but I did do a winter scene already with the winter fox. And so maybe I will do winter as my next Mucha. But I will tell you, the Monet, and I did take French in high school. Moët and Chandon was a beautiful poster. And I remember too, like in my restaurants, I not only collected like little antiques for housewares, I also collected posters. In fact, I got my ex-husband to collect posters of antique posters, and I believe that he has most of them, but I don't know if I had the Moët. I think I had the Moët and Chandon with the monkey and a top hat, but I gave that to him in the divorce. Like, I gave him also my Peter Max, but oh well, that's fine with me. I do miss looking at them though. I do miss seeing these pieces of artwork that, I introduced him to, and then he became a collector himself. Anyway, I wonder if the season that I'm missing is the winter season that was not part of that collection that my mother gave me. I believe I remember spring and summer, but I don't remember winter or fall, so it could be either one of those. But I do have it in storage, so maybe I could, ease the ache that I have to do the winter scene from Mucha, and maybe just hang the mirror up somewhere in my home, because it definitely would go with the color palette that we have in our home. So I wanted to close this lesson with some more of Mucha's artwork. That here is a advertisement for biscuits, I believe, and it was Sarah Bernhardt who had said, you are going to be famous one day, and it was because she was so strong that he used strong women to do his advertisements. That was for rum, and he put them in all different categories. Absinthe, he had them advertising everything from cookies to alcohol. Here's another beautiful one. I love the browns in this palette, the cognac biscuit. This is Benedictine, and my old boss gave me a bottle of this, and I never tried it, but I kept the bottle because it's gorgeous. I mean, I had it for a long time, and then I was afraid to drink it. I believe that this is the Virtuous Victorian, and I was able to find a photograph of the model that posed for that poster. And last but not least, the moon. I should have made her a little bit bigger. I'm going to have to go back in. And that's the one that I did, and she is absolutely stunning. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks for being here.